thinks of karbanis, usually, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Ishlozer? First thing comes to your mind.
Sacrificing animals.
Sacrificing animals. Comes to your mind, Moshe Yosef? No, I don't know what you call it. Not sure. Animals. Animals being brought in the Beis Avigdor. And then you start to think, is it normal? Is it not normal? Is it regular? Is it not regular? That's the wrong way of thinking of Sefer Vayikra. Sefer Vayikra should evoke a thought within your mind of an opportunity to come close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to come close to Him in spite of anything that we've done. No matter who it is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants people to come close to Him. And that's why when you start a child, in Torah, you talk about karbanos. There's once a story about a only son to his parents, and he was a very bright kid. He had a very bright future. It was the parents' pride and joy, what they call a man's man. And one day he received an invitation to the U.S. Army, and it was during the Vietnam War. They tried to avoid it, had one child, but the fact of the matter is, the kid was conscripted in the army, trained, and before long, he ended up in Vietnam on the front in a very, very difficult and a dirty war. And after a while, the war came to an end. Not a great end for America. And the son called his parents and he told them, I'm able to call you now, and I know you heard about it, but the war's over and I'm hoping to come home within the next 2 weeks. So the parents said, yes, we know, we're looking forward. And the parents asked, the son asked the parents, can I ask you a favor? They said, what would you like? And the parents said, he said, I have a friend who was extremely close to me during the years in the battle front. And in every battle that we fought it together. And he saved my life more than a number of times. The problem is that he's a Bachar Yasser. And he doesn't have where to go home to. I'd like to know and ask you if now that the war's over, if I can bring him home and we could raise him like one of us stay in my room? No. So the parents said, for sure. Why not? Somebody who have done so much for our child, of course we're going to take him. The son said, I got to tell you, Mom and Dad, that this bacher doesn't look so good. What do you mean? He was wounded for me in a number of battles, and his face is not recognizable anymore. Not only that, he got a limp. Parents started to say, I'm not sure. It's not. I mean, they're not going to have to take care of him, and he's going to need a matziv. So I said, you know what? We'll give him a sizable amount of money, but let him find a place to live, and we'll help him out. Well, the kid said, okay. Sorry to hear that, but hang up the phone. A couple days go by, and the parents get a phone call from the army in Vietnam. They're sorry to tell them that their only child has died. Died. We just spoke to them a couple days ago. Died. So he said, for mysterious reasons unbeknown to us, your son took his own life. And they will fly him at the Army's expense to a military ceremony in the Army graveyard in California. And over there you'll be able to see your child who fought for the country valiantly and was a good soldier. 2 days went by of crying nonstop for the parents. No kids anymore, no family. And they couldn't figure out what the reason in the world did their dear son, their special kid, take his own life. After 2 years of such difficult battles, but he arrived at American shores and the parents went to see him. And they put him in a room, they open up the coffin so they could say their final goodbyes, and they look at their son and they don't recognize his face. He's laying there inanimate like a rock, and he looks completely wounded. All his facial features. They see part of his leg is missing. And then they understood. The friend whom the son was asking about, his loyal friend, was none other than himself. He didn't know how his parents are going to be able to handle him. He knew their lifestyle, he knew what their dreams were and their plans were after his difficult battle scars. And when he heard the tshuva of his parents, the response his parents gave, he understood that there was no place for him anymore in that home. And when the parents chapped, they began to shriek and cry. And they said, if we would have known we're talking about you, we would have mamish moved the whole world for you. We would have gotten the best plastic surgeons in the whole world. We would have fixed your face up. We'd have got the best doctors to take care of all your wounds, to make your feet better, to make this better. If you only would have come home, we would have done for you hakel, bakel, makelkel. don't you come home? This story is the story of every one of us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends us into this world to do battle for the L'chol. Ramchal tells us everybody is going into the battle. And it's a tough battle because there's no step that you take that you're not going to face the battle. And there are molei nisyonos achayim, wealth, poverty, peace, war, struggles, no struggles, and a person thinks about going back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu at times, and he starts to think, is there any more hope for me? Is HaKadosh Baruch Hu going to be mekabel? We're Rachmana litzlan, wounded, we're battle-scarred from our avonos and from our pshoyim. Our eyes have become damaged from being exposed to all kind of poison agents. Our mouths have become mikolkol, totally ruined from the burim asurim. Our hands are wounded from maisim royim, and there's no parts of us. And we want to know that will HaKadosh Baruch Hu take us back to the Beis Hashem. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us, just come on. I will heal, anik far I'm the roife of all matzavim. I will heal you of all your wounds, because a son you never disown. A ben is an integral part of his parents. And for a son, you do everything. Even for a son who has become and gone wayward. More than this, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us, even if it's difficult for us to come back home, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, just take the steps as much as your ability is to come toward me, and the rest I'll do. Shuva Yisroel ad Hashem Elokecha. Moshe leben melech shayirochik me'aviv me'halech me'ya yoyim. There's a story, and he says, a moshel of a ben melech who was 100 days away from his father. Amru loy ayavav chazor, go back to your father. That's where you belong. That's your place. Amalem, he says, Eini yachol, I'm not able to. Shalach aviv loy, his father sends him a message and he says, Haleich, go, masha ato yochel lefi koichach. Go what you're able to do. Va'ani etzba etzlacha, I'm going to come to meet you b'shar haderech. I'll take you the rest of the way. Kach amalem HaKadosh Baruch Hu shuva ilai ve'ashuva aleich. Hashem says, take the steps. Ve'ashuva aleich. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, just take the steps you're able to take. But if a person doesn't do this, he's causing himself with his own hands, his own eternal death. And it's a misa forever. So therefore, it's kedai. It's kedai for us, and kedai for every one of us, to go and make the steps back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is Sefer Vayikra. This is the Tiferes HaKarbonos that comes to be mechaper on the chatoyim of a mensch, like The Gemara says in Zvachim, Omar Rebbe Nyani Bar Sosin, Lama Nismacha Parshas Karbonis La Parshas Big Dekuna. Why is it Nismacha Parshas Karbonis La Parshas Big Dekuna? Loimelach Ma Karbonis Mechaprim Af Big Dekuna Mechaprim. It means a mensch does what he can. He's mischarit. He brings a carbon, and HaKadosh Baruch is mechaper on his sins. But today we don't have a carbon. So, how does HaKadosh Baruch Hu forgive us? How do you get a kapara? Because a person is able to daven and plead with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Like it says in the Medrash, Yisroel Oimrim Riboy No'elamim Hanesiyim Achoytim, the leaders sin. Umeviim korban u'mischaper. Mashiach choytei umevi korban u'mischaper. Anu ein lanu korban. Amalei HaKadosh Baruch Hu says ve'im kol adas Yisroel yishku. There's a parsha if kol adas Yisroel is yishku. That means even for you, not only for special people, that I give afford an opportunity to come on us. Kol adas Yisroel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what do you want from us? This guy says, what do you want from us? Amar Lem Hashem says, Dvorim ani mevakesh. Shenemar kechu imochem dvorim v'shuvu el Hashem. And I will be moich you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, on all your averos. What are the dvorim? Ein dvorim ela divrei Torah. Divrei Torah mechafrim. Shenemar eila dvorim shediba Moshe. Learning about the karbonos, learning about kaparas, learning about tshuva, and with intent to take the steps toward tshuva. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Amalem bechu vehispalalu lefanai. Cry and daven before me. V'ani mekabel. Zeh steht dort echt in Psikta. It says, Kechu imachem dvorim v'shuvu el Hashem. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisroel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Klal Yisroel, B'ni eini mekabel mikem, I'm not going to accept from you loy oilois, v'loy chatoyis, v'loy hashamois, v'loy menachos, elo shetiratzu oisi b'tfilah. Hashem wants us to find favor with Him through tefillah. Betchina, supplication. Kavonas haleiv. Yochel b'dvarim b'teilim. Maybe b'dvarim b'teilim. A person says, talk to me, Hashem. Maybe I talk to Hashem, even before I say the Irish guy. Maybe Hashem wants that too. Talmud loimer ki loy kel chofetz resha ato. You're not a kel that wants resha. Lo yigur chara, with you it doesn't dwell ra. Bevidoi, besachnunim, bedima, lekach, nemar, kechu imachem dvar. Now this is an important thing that a person has to know. Whenever you start Sefer Vayikra, you have to know HaKadosh Baruch Hu is reminding you, number one, not to give up. Number two, don't delay. Number three, begin taking the steps. People sometimes go cold inside. They get colds on their soul. The neshamas catch colds and they start to freeze. And it's very sad. You have to remember when you learn Sefer Vayikra, the famous mashal, the Rebbe Yehuda writes at the beginning of Sefer Shari Tshuva, that it was a mashal, it was a kat shalistim. It was a group of robbers that the Melech put them in the jail, and they dig a tunnel out, and they got out. And they all escaped except for one of them. So the head of the Sar Beis HaSoyer comes, and he sees the tunnel to get out, and he sees this guy is still here. And he starts to hit him with a stick. He says, "Tiferes what you are. Didn't you see the tunnel, your way out? The door was open. How come you didn't hurry to Russia? Well, the Emes says everybody has the cash. Why did the prison warden get angry? Why did he get so angry? My kid should have given the guy a prize. The guy didn't want to endanger himself by getting caught as an escapee, and he didn't want to get more punishments. That a Tiferes could be, and he showed them it. Shalas were talking over here that the Melech Malchei Hamlochim, who Shoilet Bakoil, is the one who allowed that tunnel to be dug. See, when tunnels are usually dug, they're dug behind the backs of the prison wardens. But when HaKadosh Baruch Hu lets a tunnel be dug, that means he allowed the tunnel to be dug. He wanted to give people an opportunity. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu was telling him, if I arranged for you a Tiferes, so that the Sar tells us, Tipish, Tiferes is Chatura Lefanecha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu did for you Azam and Toiva, Azam and Zach. How in the world HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you this opportunity and you didn't take it? Everybody knows, what was the famous example of that? Menashe ben Chizkiyahu. The famous Menashe ben Chizkiyahu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was choyter a chatira mitachas kisei kovay, the mekabel's tshuva, if he went through all kind of suffering. No? So why don't you use that opportunity? In this mashal we see that even if a person is in the worst matzah possible, he's already sentenced to jail, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in his great love for Klal Yisroel, and for each and every one of us, regardless of his maimer, regardless of his matziv, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu seeks eitzes of how to bring us back. But we have to decide to come back. So for the next number of weeks, we're going to be learning Sefer Vayikra. And we're now about halfway out through the year away from Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. And we're holding in a very special time of the year. We're holding by Purim, we're holding by Pesach, a time of miracles, of hischadshus, of rebirth, of tremendous opportunity. Sayim Pesach and Sayim Purim, Hashem demonstrated, but we got to get out of our lockjaw. We got to release that lock that's within ourselves that says, not now. Let me wait a little more, maybe till next Yom Kippur. Why should I delay? Why should I rush to do it now? I'll do it next year. I'll do it later on in 6 months. Like HaKadosh Baruch Hu was telling us, no, my kind. Vayikra, HaKadosh Baruch Hu calls to Moshe and he says, tell the Bnei Yisroel, V'amartale. Now's the time. Now's the time. So every one of us should not wait and not delay. You have to know, just logically, every day that you delay, it never gets easier. You make a mistake of your lifetime if you think it's going to get easier. It's going to get harder. And the cheshbon, for every day that a person delays tshuva, recently I was reading an article about people go off to derech, and the parents went to the Rav and this and that, and they told the Rav, and the Rav told them, don't worry, he's going to come back. So the parents said, how do you know? So they all, eventually they all break down, and the famous guy from Williamsburg, and he went off to derech and became a Roshim, a Rusha, Mamish, and he became like a poster boy for whatchamacallit. Got a nice Yiddish name, Shulam, that's his name. not Shalom, Shulam, and he still goes by that name. And they interviewed him. He's a very famous guy for years, going around bad-mouthing the Frum community and the Torah community, getting involved, all kind of rishes. And last week he said, you know how lonely he feels. The hardest thing is that he feels meruchik from his community. The hardest thing is he feels lonely in the world. Lonely. What do you mean? You have a whole world that loves you. All your chayes royes out there. All the chayes soyar, all the animals in the forest. They take you on TV, they put you on the computer, they put you on, they make videos of you. They look at you like a clown, like you're sick, broken, war-torn. They have no respect for you. You dippish, you shade what you are. And eventually they come back. I knew a guy at Rosh Hashanah, I had to talk like I was blue in the face. The guy came back, I was shocked. 10 years later, the guy came back. I'm out of my mind, I can't get over it. But every day you wait to come back, very costly. The price you're going to pay afterwards is going to be very expensive. The delay, number one, it's going to create, it's a price you pay for it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you know that you're going to get hit. The Sar Beis HaSoyer is going to be punished. You're going to come back, because you're not going to have any choice. Or you'll commit suicide. A lot of them commit suicide. Just recently, a girl, Parsha, from a Chassidus family, went off to Derek. They were very famous. They also became famous over Derek. One day she realized her life was nothing. So she walked up to a 50th story restaurant, one of these fancy buildings in Manhattan, in the middle of the supper. She ran through the restaurant and jumped off. You know what the worst part about it is? No one said boo. Everybody kept the supper. They didn't move or change. Gerst. Somebody wrote, how callous could New Yorkers be? My friend, that was a message from Hashem. She splattered herself on the floor. Ever. I'd say she wasn't well. All not well. Everybody tells me, everybody's crazy. Everybody do shtus. It's Parsha like that. Trying to make something of themselves, and people don't realize there's an opportunity. There's kavanas. Hashem says, come back. I'm calling you. Hashem says, I'm calling you. No God tell us. Hashem should call us. We should have to bang our door down, mamish, and come back. Once heard it says by Acher. Acher didn't do tshuva. Acher, the God locked door, mamish, guys, mamish, Rebbe. At Goyen, unbelievable. It's Talmud answer, Rebbe answer, I can do the tshuva. Notice he said, you heard a Basko. Now, when he said hear a Basko, he wasn't like us. If I say I hear a Basko, you know, I'm hallucinating. You know, yes, because near Purim, before Purim, during the Purim Suda, you wonder when you're hearing Basko. You understand it, you know? After how many beers do you hear Baskos? How many Jack Daniels did you have before you have Baruch HaKodesh? You understand this old Narishke. But he heard Basko. It said, Shuvu bonim shevavim chutz be'ach. I've thought about that so many times. If I was on the Madriga to hear that, well, what would I think? Because Baruch Hu said, shoot, everybody can do tshuva except for Yisroel, bro. I don't know. I understand that Acher said it's no purpose with the tshuva. So I once heard from a big tzaddik, Doug Segel, he said, what was the time of Acher? Hashem told me, too late. Chayr is right. See, he was masber that, let's say, a guy's walking down the street. One of the first things I heard from him, he said, let's say a guy's walking down the street and all of a sudden he sees 3 big Schwarzes coming there. He starts to run. He runs to the closest house. And he bangs on the door and no one answers. What does he do? He bangs on the door harder. No one answers. He starts kicking and screaming and shouting. But he knows he's got to get in that door. There's nowhere else to go. He turns around and goes back in the street. He's finished. His only hope is getting in that door. The fact that Asher gave up hope on himself, and he didn't say, what do you mean no Asher? I have to, there's no other choice. I have to come back. So sometimes a person gets to that much drinking. That's weird. But every day you delay is definitely going to make it not harder for you. It's going to be harder for you, not easier for you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us now, come back now. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu calls it Hiskarvus. Hiskarvus is an amazing name for people who misspell. We think of Hiskarvus, a person has a nerdik, a Talmud Muvik. You have tzaddikim, Hashem wants to be Makarev, Hashem oyev tzaddikim, and the like. But to be Makarev, Rishayim, yeah, Taiv Yosher Hashem. And Hashem is mated with them. Hashem is mischaset with them. And when you think of, say, Vayikra, Hashem said, I'm telling you, come back. But you better come back. Don't fool yourself and play games with yourself. You misakin yourself and come back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu now. You look around these people, and you see a person going off the derech, and you see a person behaving in a terrible way, you look at them, what a walking tragedy. Mamish, they smile, you watch them, you look at them, you watch them, they smile, they choose their friends, they shake their hair a little bit, you know, they think they're cool, they with these tight jeans, they buy these new shoes, these pointy shoes, they think, oh, what a cool guy, you know, mamish. They think, and if they're girls, they get that sneeze, they get clothes, they oh, don't I look mamish for the friar world, oh, you're so special, you're so special, you know, mamish, it's so mamish for kosher and luxury, and this mamish garbage, and you watch it, you think, Shrek, this is going to be costly, this is going to be costly, mamish, this is going to be expensive, I'm telling you. Do tshuva now before you fall mamish totally off the tracks. That's what a person has to know, and that's the Sefer Vayikra. Baruch Hu should help us all be zoicha, to be aroused from Sefer Vayikra, and we should seize the opportunity and not delay this wonderful opportunity for growth, for coming back. Yechui bachem devarim Hashem said, you do what you can do, and I'll meet you. Shuva elai, the Shuva aleichem.